This is a story because I had the privilege of finally meeting Dr. Bill Andrews just now in person. We just spoke on the phone about a month ago. And I tell the story because I say, I feel like that you're already my best friend because 2 years ago, I was at the AMMG, and my responsibility from Florence Comite was to dumb down genetics. So she said, you did such a great job. We're going to talk about telomeres from Dr. Cole and then Dr. Fleshman, and then I need you to dumb it down again. So that's what us Canadians do. We just dumb it down, right? That's a good thing. And the reason I'm telling the story is I did a little homework around telomeres because it was one of those days when you're traveling, you got the tail end of telomere story, and I pride myself knowing a little bit about a lot of stuff. And I'm looking at this stuff, go, what is this? So I went to see my friends, Vince Giampapa, who's a plastic surgeon who's been in the anti-aging world for a long, long time. I said, is this stuff legit? Like, can we move forward with this? And so this is what it all comes down to, right? You have colleagues and you ask them, is this legit before you do something? And he goes, yeah, I should get into this. So off I went onto the internet, and you go telomeres, and the thing pops up, and you go, wow, there's so much stuff here. So much stuff so that if you ever find that even my stuff is not dumbed down enough, there's a fabulous video. It's still out there. I thought it was an hour, but apparently it's an hour and 40 minutes, which Bill Andrews spoke to some pharmacists. I think it was a pharmacy association, and it's brilliant. So you should watch it, down to the animated audios, and he's much more animated than I am. So do enjoy that. So let me take the opportunity to say thank you for inviting a foreigner, and I thank Florence for that, and congratulations, my friend, for winning some prestigious award today. And I'm going to take this opportunity now to just go through some things that I hope you can take home. So this is what I assume that you would want to learn. And this is the three things. What are telomeres? Okay, and maybe yesterday at 7 in the morning, if you weren't here at the conference yet, you won't know what that is, but we'll certainly talk about that. And you know, you think that it's just a simple thing to measure your telomere length, but as you know, in all of medicine, there's controversies around that. So I'm going to introduce a little bit of that information, and then last but not least, prove to you, I hope, that telomeres are important to do as a test. And more importantly, I think the question at the end of this is, would you like your telomeres tested? Because if you as a physician decide not to do a test, then you won't recommend it to your patients. Does that make sense? Okay, so here we go. So let's talk about what are telomeres. Just going to try and move some of this down here. I have a little slide deck going on here too. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you saw a pair of shoes, and as you've seen, what the shoes were supposed to represent was the shoelace. And the common analogy is the anklet or the plastic tip of your shoelace protects the integrity of the entire shoelace so it doesn't run. And for a long, long time, I guess a lot of DNA, as we talked about, was deemed to be junk, but this has again been discovered to not be junk because it's critical in cell division. And if cell division isn't done properly, then bad things happen. And here's two pictures I'm going to show you that I think are pretty cool. One is this one, and this is courtesy of Dr. Blackburn's lab. And this picture on the part on the right-hand side shows a bunch of really light, bright dots. And basically what that means is that there's some dysfunction in the telomere, and the cells are having trouble dividing, so there's lots of little bright lights. And on the left-hand side is a normal, healthy cell. But I think this is much more interesting. And I have to admit that this is also quite funny because I had to do homework with my son recently. And I now know what this is. It's called metaphase because I'd forgotten about it, grade 9 biology. and I'm starting to sound bright, and he keeps asking me, where are the telomeres? Where are the telomeres? And, at high school, they haven't started teaching that yet. But here's the situation where the cell just won't divide because it's all kind of messed up and it's having trouble pulling apart. So in the presence of Dr. Andrews, he would say, bad things happen when telomeres get short. So there's a whole slew of things here that I've listed. And there's also, Dr. Fleshman just listed a whole bunch of things before our break, showing all the things that short telomeres have been associated with. So I just want to step back and use a different analogy than shoelaces. I relate to cars better, okay? Tires. We all have, when we buy a car, our tires are made from certain companies, and so we start off with a certain grade of tires. Supposedly, that's what we're supposed to be hearing and understanding. And as we drive on our car, depending how we drive on it, the treads wear out. And where we can buy a new pair of tires and just trade them in and get a new pair, we can't trade our bodies in and get another set of telomeres. We're stuck with what we've got from our parents, and depending on how we live our life, will determine how quickly we burn those telomeres. And so, similarly to tires, if we can't replace our tires, it doesn't mean we can't drive the car. Okay? It just means that if you're in snow or sleet or rain, you're slippering around a little bit more than somebody who's probably got really good tires. And it may or may not mean you get into a car accident. And similarly with critically short telomeres, it's just one variable to suggest that you might be at a high risk of getting into trouble. So I came across this diagram, but I have to say I had to dumb it down a bit too because it was a bit complicated in the journal. So it is adapted from there, but if there's a reference on the bottom, and all of these slides are available in a massive deck online, so you can download them. So just the dotted line is just a representation of anything above it means that we can just by and large call them healthy division, the telomere length. And everything below that is where we're going to run into some trouble and the DNA starts to be unstable, and therefore we have something called genomic instability. So as I mentioned, each of our parents give us a set of predetermined telomeres, and I don't think at this point in telomere biology I can tell you whether Chinese people have longer telomeres than Africans, but we can probably assume that there's probably something there. But the problem lies that when you get to that critical point at that dotted line, and that is when, in reality, the cells start to not be very healthy.